Hi creepy crawlers, today I'm going to talk about my top 5 horror films for 2017. So starting out with number 5, we have to give some love to Alien the Covenant. It was awesomely filmed. There was a lot of unanswered questions with Prometheus, and this one really knocked it out of the park. Good acting, good dialogues, awesome facial expressions between the actors, and the first kill was visually stunning. Awesomely done. In this film, I felt the sadness between the characters every time one of their friends was deceased. It was really exciting to see the alien back in the big screen after so many years. I was one that I haven't seen it since Prometheus, and not even that one, it gave us a lot of information. The number one reason it did not place a better position in my list was because of the worshipping alien. And not only that, the life cycle of the alien was kind of dubious. But anyway, the movie was still awesomely done, and I'm very happy it came back to us in 2017. The alien is back. And jumping to number 4, Annabelle the Creation. For those that don't know, this is the prequel to the first movie, Annabelle, and we learned a lot about its beginnings. I remember when I read the news last year, I was freaking out of excitement because I really love the Conjuring universe, and I'm really hoping they don't spoil it in future flicks. The movie is not about the orphan girls. It's more about pure evil, sheer terror. And this is definitely one of my favorite horror films for 2017. It brings back a lot of those filming techniques back in the day. And that crucifix scene, my God, awesome. And moving on to number 3, Life. And my goodness, it had the 1979 Alien movie written everywhere on it. But it's not a loser. It's an awesome film. It's a high-end production. And if you're really into deep space, suspense, thriller, horror, this is the movie for you. I'm really drawn to these type of movies that have to do with crisis and deep space, when they have a little amount of resources to survive what is threatening their lives. And the creature was just like the face hugger. I'm sorry, but it's very similar to that one. And the CG effects looked really cool, not only in the creature, but also in the deep space scenes. And I really love how the movie brought us this message of how is it that every living organism has a beginning, either is by intelligent design or by accident. And I reviewed this movie a couple of months ago when I saw it. You could go back and check that video if you want. Awesome movie. I really loved it, and I'm going to have it in my Blu-ray collection. And we're getting closer to number 1. Right now, number 2, Split. Awesome movie. Really good. I really like that a lot. James McAvoy, he did a wondrous job. I mean, portraying these characters, this one man that had multiple personalities. Of course, the movie doesn't show them all. I think he only goes with 4 or 5 in this film. But the movie was well done. It was so well executed. And this is so different from what we already used to see in the big screen. And it carries you right from the beginning all the way to the end. Good acting by Betty Buckley, Anya Taylor-Joy, and James McAvoy. 3 girls in the wrong place at the wrong time. And you could tell that every personality had some serious issues. For example, the woman that was slicing the sandwich right in the middle, and she got upset because the split that she made was a little bit uneven. You could tell that this was a serious nutcase. The facial expressions between the main characters, the girls, the acting, her performance, it was just unbelievable. And James McAvoy, he did awesomely good in this film. He should be the actor of the year. I was in shock when he was portraying this character that was supposed to be a kid. I was stunned when I saw that performance. Awesomely good, really well done. And the ending of this film has one hell of a twist. If you haven't seen Split, watch it now. You're not going to regret it. And before we go into my number 1 pick for 2017, I had to mention some movies that I really love. The Belko Experiment. If you really want to know a little bit more about the human behavior, about mind control, crisis and everything, how is it that people change when they are like in this environment of conflict, of crisis, this is the movie that you have to watch. But be aware before you watch this movie and you're kind of squeamish, this is a very violent movie. So if you're up to it, I highly recommend the Belko Experiment. You will not regret it. And another movie that I really like was A Cure for Wellness. It's more of a mystery than a horror film, but it was so different. I should say it was a unique film. Very well-rounded. The problem is that for some people it was a little bit long. There was no eeriness in this film, but there was a lot of violence, very disturbing scenes. Another movie that I would like to mention before going to my number one film would be Get Out. When I saw the trailer last year, I wasn't surprised at all, except for a couple of days when I decided to give it a chance. Because you have to remember there's been a lot of crappy movies, a lot of pathetic films out there, just like my Christmas trees over here. The movie was so different and I really enjoyed it a lot. It had a lot of things that I was not expecting by watching a trailer that I did not like. It took me totally by surprise. And my number one pick for 2017. Can you guess? That's right. It's Pennywise Lives. This movie reminds me so much of my childhood because of the fact that I was afraid of dolls and clowns. Every time I go through my sister's room, I just had this feeling that, these dolls and clowns in her room were like looking at me, staring at me. But the movie was beautifully made. Everywhere you looked in the movie, it had this 80s vibe in it, a lot of references. And I did review this, but this is another movie that has to do with pure evil. And that's the perfect example of a good horror film. Pennywise eyes, one eye looking at the kid and the other eye looking at you. And it was almost like inviting you to the film. But the movie had a little bit of everything, more about a story, about friendship. But the movie is horror. It's a scary film. And I felt it was very well balanced between the characters when they had different kinds of issues where each one of them were struggling with. But it had a lot of elements of everything. It even had a little bit of comedy in it. The CG effects were really good in this movie. So guys, thanks a lot for watching this video. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.